50 dark psychology facts about human behavior that will change how you see people forever. Most people believe they understand human nature. But beneath our civilized surface lies a darker psychology, ancient survival mechanisms, hidden manipulations, and uncomfortable truths about how we really think and behave. These 50 dark psychology facts reveal the shadow side of human behavior that most never want to acknowledge. 1. People enjoy others' failures more than their own successes. Schadenfreude isn't just a German word, it's human nature. The brain releases more dopamine watching a rival stumble than achieving personal victory. Envy runs deeper than joy. 2. Most people would rather be right than happy. The need to win arguments trumps the need for peace. Pride becomes prison, and ego becomes executioner of relationships. 3. Narcissists use boundary testing to identify their next victims. A late text response, a casual insult disguised as humor, a promise casually broken. They're not just being careless, they're mapping your limits, seeing what abuse you'll normalize. 4. The bystander effect isn't about not caring, it's about not wanting responsibility. When someone needs help, we look around hoping someone else will act first. Compassion loses to self-preservation every time. 5. People are more honest when they think they're being watched, even by photos of lies. Morality isn't internal, it's performance. Remove the audience and the mask comes off. 6. Authority makes ordinary people commit extraordinary cruelty. The Milgram experiments proved it. Give someone permission to harm others, and most will. Evil doesn't require monsters, just orders from above. 7. People judge others' actions by their character, but judge their own actions by their circumstances. Cut someone off in traffic, and they're an idiot. Get cut off yourself, and you are running late. Hypocrisy is the brain's default setting. 8. Most people would sacrifice a stranger to save 5 others, but only if they don't have to push the button themselves. Distance makes murder easier. Abstraction dissolves guilt. 9. People form stronger bonds through shared suffering than shared joy. Trauma creates deeper connections and happiness. Misery doesn't just love company, it creates family. 10. Humans naturally form in-groups and out-groups within minutes of meeting. The tribal mind still runs the show. Us versus them isn't learned, it's hardwired. Peace is the exception, not the rule. 11. Gaslighting works because people trust others' memories more than their own when confused. That never happened. You're being too sensitive. I never said that. Repeat the lie enough, and even the victim starts to doubt their reality. 12. Most people prefer familiar misery to unfamiliar happiness. The devil you know feels safer than the heaven you don't. Fear of change trumps desire for improvement. 13. People's moral standards mysteriously lower when they're tired, hungry, or stressed. Ethics are a luxury the struggling can't afford. Virtue requires energy most people don't have to spare. 14. Humans will torture others if told it's for their own good. Parents, teachers, doctors, coaches, cruelty disguised as care is the most socially acceptable form of sadism. 15. The Dark Triad, narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism often leads to career success. These traits help people climb corporate ladders by exploiting others without guilt. Evil isn't punished in the boardroom, it's promoted. 16. Most people would rather punish the guilty than help the innocent. Revenge releases more dopamine than rescue. The desire to harm wrongdoers exceeds the desire to aid victims. 17. People become more aggressive when they feel anonymous. Remove names, faces, and consequences. And civility disappears. The internet didn't create trolls, it revealed them. 18. Humans unconsciously dehumanize those they harm. Soldiers call enemies targets. Executioners wear hoods. The mind protects itself by making victims less than human. 19. People remember negative events 5 times longer than positive ones. Evolution taught us to obsess over threats and forget rewards. Happiness fades. Trauma sticks. 20. Most people only follow rules when they believe they'll be caught. Morality is performance art. Remove the spotlight, and the actor drops the role. 21. Love bombing is a manipulation tactic where someone overwhelms you with affection to create emotional dependency. Excessive gifts, constant texting, premature declarations of love. It's not romance, it's psychological warfare disguised as devotion. 22. Humans naturally seek scapegoats when stressed. Someone must be blamed when things go wrong. Reason doesn't matter, only that the crowd has a target for its rage. 23. People conform to group pressure even when they know the group is wrong. The Ash experiments proved it. Truth loses to tribe. Facts bow to feelings of belonging. 24. Most people feel secret satisfaction when successful people fail spectacularly. We build heroes up just to tear them down. Celebrity scandals feed something dark in the collective soul. 25. Triangulation is used to maintain power in relationships by creating jealousy and competition. Playing people against each other, mentioning others' romantic interests, comparing you to others. It's deliberate destabilization to keep you fighting for their attention. 26. Humans are naturally paranoid because ancestors who trusted everyone died young. Suspicion kept our species alive. That's why conspiracy theories feel more believable than coincidences. 27. People enjoy watching violence more than they admit as long as they can justify it morally. Boxing, football, action movies, violent video games. We crave brutality wrapped in acceptable packaging. 28. Most people would steal if they knew they'd never get caught and never be known as thieves. Honor without audience becomes rare. Integrity costs more when no one's buying. 29. Intermittent reinforcement creates stronger addiction than consistent rewards. Random acts of kindness mixed with cruelty create trauma bonds. Victims stay because the occasional sweetness feels like salvation after the poison. 30. Humans naturally create hierarchies and then defend their position in them viciously. Equality is the exception. Dominance and submission are the default social operating system. 31. People feel less guilt about harming someone they've already harmed before. The first cut is the deepest psychologically. Each subsequent wound requires less justification. 32. Most people would rather destroy something than see their enemy possess it. Scorched earth runs deeper than self-interest. If I can't have it, no one can. 33. Projection allows abusers to avoid responsibility by accusing victims of their own crimes. Cheaters accuse partners of infidelity. Liars call others dishonest. Manipulators claim they're being manipulated. The guilty finger always points away from itself. 34. People become crueler in groups than they'd ever be alone. Individual conscience dissolves in collective action. The mob mind murders morality. 35. Most people secretly enjoy gossip because it provides social power and bonding through shared judgment. Information is ammunition. Secrets are currency. Character assassination builds friendships. 36. People will rationalize almost any behavior to maintain a positive self-image. The mind is a master storyteller, always editing reality to keep the hero sympathetic. 37. Emotional vampires drain others' energy through constant crisis, never-ending problems, and insatiable need for attention. They don't want solutions, they want an audience for their suffering and a source to feed their emptiness. 38. People feel entitled to revenge, even for imagined slights. The brain doesn't distinguish between real and perceived injuries. Both demand payment in kind. 39. Most people prefer to be feared than ignored. Negative attention beats no attention. Better to be the villain in someone's story than absent from it entirely. 40. People unconsciously mirror the worst traits of those they claim to oppose. Fighting monsters risks becoming one. The abyss gazes back into those who stare too long. 41. The grey rock method works against manipulators because they feed on emotional reactions. Become boring, unresponsive, emotionally flat, and predators move on to more interesting prey. Drama queens need an audience to perform. 42. People feel less empathy for victims of problems they've never experienced personally. Imagination has limits. Compassion requires common ground that may not exist. 43. Most people would sacrifice their values to protect their reputation. Image matters more than integrity when survival is at stake, social or otherwise. 44. Hoovering is when toxic people try to suck you back into their orbit after you've escaped. Sudden apologies, promises to change, gifts, threats of suicide, anything to regain control. The vacuum cleaner has a name, and it's not Dyson. 45. Humans naturally seek to control others' behavior while resenting others' attempts to control them. Freedom for me, rules for thee. Hypocrisy is the human condition. 46. People remember insults longer than compliments because threats matter more than praise for survival. The mind is a museum of every slight, a library of every wound. 47. Most people would rather be comfortable than free if given the choice. Liberty requires responsibility that many find too heavy to bear. 48. People unconsciously punish those who make them feel inadequate by comparison. Excellence in others highlights our own mediocrity. Tall poppies get cut down. 49. Humans create meaning through suffering more than through joy. Pain provides purpose. Struggle builds identity. Comfort creates existential emptiness. 50. And finally, people judge others by their actions, but themselves by their intentions. Everyone else is what they do. We are what we meant to do. This double standard is the source of most human conflict. These truths aren't meant to make you cynical, they're meant to make you aware. Understanding the shadow side of human nature doesn't make you dark, it makes you prepared. Knowledge of how people really behave isn't pessimism, it's realism. The question isn't whether these dark impulses exist in all of us. They do. The question is what you'll do with this knowledge. Will you exploit these psychological truths to manipulate others, or will you use them to understand yourself and others with clearer eyes? Because in the end, the darkness isn't something out there in others. It's something in here, in all of us. And only by acknowledging the shadow can we choose to step toward the light. The choice, as always, is yours.